take risk when you're young because you can afford it. Expand as much as you can while you have the chance before the window closes. And when you finally made it, give back to society, pay it forward, and then teach them what you learned.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good morning, Kevin Shee. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful morning?
I'm very fine, thank you, Angel.
Well, it's a great pleasure to connect with you, Kevin. Please do tell me, what part of the world are you in right now?
I'm in Hong Kong. I think Hong Kong is a bit famous right now because of always in the news. It's a bit chaotic, but I'm getting by. Life is all right here still.
Well, you are far from Hong Kong, or are you close to the city?
I am in the city, heart of the city.
Okay.
So it's not as dangerous as people see in the news or anything. You just have to be careful where to go. There might be some traffic jam and all that. But overall, it's still okay.
All right. Well, I hope everything works out there, yeah?
Thank
I
you.
hope you keep safe,
Yep.
yeah. All right, my friend. Well, do tell us which of your talents, Kevin, is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history.
I've been in business for many years. I started my business when I was 28. I am in the business of self-storage. Do you know self-storage? Is there anyone's self-storage buildings in Trinidad?
I do not think so, I think it isn't such of a big thing here as yet. Tell
Okay.
us more.
But in the US, it's huge.
Yeah, in the US, it's big, yeah.
So my family has a factory. They do plastic bags, and then it went bankrupt. And then, by the luck of the straw, I decided to try it out doing self-storage, converting a few rooms first for partial income. And then it did well. And then I was very ambitious when I was young, in my younger days. So I just grew the thing. I keep on borrowing money from the banks, and then I just open more. Sometimes I just lease, or I work out with a deal with the landlord. And within a span of, I think, 16 years, I grew to be the number one in Hong Kong, or 15 years, and number two in Asia. So we had about 66 locations, buildings and all that. We had about 20,000 customers, and then we had 1.2 million square feet.
Wow.
And that was pretty good. And then in 2016, we had because maybe I built too fast, we had a very, very big fire. So the fire was the longest fire in Hong Kong history, and it killed 2 firemen. So since then, I've been downsizing and traveling. Yeah.
So the entrepreneurial side of what you do, the adventure path, who did you learn that from?
Oh, my father was an entrepreneur. My grandfather was an entrepreneur. So I guess I was destined to be an entrepreneur as well. Also, like in the Chinese family tradition, like the firstborn son is supposed to take care of the family. Since my father was quite substantially in debt, there's no way I can be like working for somebody and repay the family loans and all that, right? And we had the mortgages and everything. So I was destined to try to venture out as an entrepreneur myself, at least to see if I can help the company repay the debt.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, then that speaks still. There's the culture side, but then, all right, how do you sell stuff now? Why are you selling off the business now and traveling the world?
Oh, because basically, since the fire, we had lawsuits left, right, and center. And then the government asked us, imagine you have 66 buildings or locations.
Right.
And then for 16, 17 years, you get pat on the back and awards, all that. And then since the fire, the government asked you, okay, this is not safe anymore. Demolish all your sites and rebuild it.
Wow.
And then the banks doesn't give you any support. Right. And luckily, the real estate is still booming back then. You make more money and you have less stress in your life if you just sell the land or sell the property and let them use it for something else and just reinvest the money somewhere else or passive. So I guess it's the calling of the times, I guess. Yes.
Oh, you sound super positive, though. I mean, going through that, I'm guessing it wasn't as smooth as
it was pretty bad. No, it was 3 years, so it was pretty bad. I mean, it wasn't my first crisis. It was my third one. When I first came back, I had to redevelop my family's business from being in debt and getting out of it. So that was a big thing. And then we tried to IPO the company, and then we spent a lot of money and failed. That was the second thing. So I've been through many crises in my life. And luckily, I've gone through all of them okay. I mean, I came out okay ahead. And I just want to travel the world, see the world a bit more now, and then to more focus on business.
Yes. What's the business now? What are you doing now?
I'm still doing storage, but I downsized from 66 locations. We only have 38 now.
Okay.
So we still have to comply a bit to the government and learning investing. Instead of building self-storage center, I'm learning to invest in self-storage REITs and collect passive recurring income.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. And how are you helping others?
Oh, similar to you, I do two things. I do Saturday mentoring sessions every Saturday morning before my wife wakes up and asks me to do house chores. So kids come by to see me, and then I either give them some advice on their business or refer them to the necessary person, or I give them some books to read. So I've been doing it for like 5-6 years now, and I've been happy to say some of the kids that sees me on a regular basis, some of them becomes a big entrepreneur themselves now. So it's very satisfying. Similar to you and your podcast, I have my own entrepreneur show on YouTube. It's in Chinese. It's called Seize the Moment, but it's in Chinese, right? So it's not English yet.
Right.
And where because of my networks with other CEOs and other business people, I get them on the show, and then they do a lot of sharing about how they start the business and criteria. And then I throw these networking events where these big CEOs gets to mentor the kids that I see as well. So I'm more of a connector, you know.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
And I've been doing that for about 5 years now. So it's give me a lot of joy. I mean, I don't have too much money, so I can't be like this super charitable person, but I use what I can to help the community.
You told us that it brings you joy, right? Just
Yes.
getting back on the reel.
Yes.
Why would you suggest to others out there that are listening, others who are budding entrepreneurs, or even the everyday 9-to-5 worker, that they do what you've done by staying consistent, nevertheless, in spite of the storms?
If you want to be an entrepreneur, start young. Don't wait till you have a girlfriend or get married. And because the later you have, the more downside you have. Then you would opt for more of a stable life, as in like in a career or something. Take risk when you're young because you can afford it. Windows like opens and close very fast, and then all you need to do is secure 1 or 2 good deals. Expand as fast as you can, as much as you can, while you have a chance before the window closes. And when you finally made it, give back to society. Give back, don't be selfish. Give back, like either by charity or helping other kids out. Pay it forward, and then teach them what you learned.
Love that. Love that. Again, amazing audience here, live with Kevin Shee. Kevin, where's the best place for someone that's listening to connect with you?
Oh, you can find me on Facebook. My name is Kevin, KevinShwe, and my company is called SE Storage.
Love it. Kevin, well, let's switch gears for a moment. Let me now invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Kevin, what's your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest childhood memory, when I was 3, I was playing with a toy car. I remember that. That was my earliest childhood memory.
All right. Why do you think this memory is so clear?
That was the earliest I remember. I don't know. I have no idea. But my mother was playing mahjong. I think it's famous in the Caribbean as well. Those tile games. My mother was playing outside, and I was playing with the toy car with the helper.
Right.
That was the earliest. I was 3 and a half.
All right. How do you see that memory connecting to who you are today, if you can even connect it?
My mother's still playing the tile game now, and she's in her 80s.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are you playing with?
I'm playing with podcasts and iPhones and storages.
That's intriguing. So would you say that playful child still lives in the midst of things that has happened?
Not as much as it used to be. I was very out of the box. I took a lot of risk when I was young. They call it the cowboy of storage. So it really straightened me out. I take much less risk now. And I try to channel my risk into other things. I just did skydiving last month. I went to Spain. I ran with the bulls. So I still like to take risk, but I don't put the risk in my business. I can't afford to lose anymore.
Yeah. All right. If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
My favorite song? Well, I was always in hip hop. Death Row music, Death Row Records, Snoop Dogg, and then I'm a variety guy. Like as I get older, I like jazz now more, more mellow stuff right now. So you change when you're, I used to do breakdancing in the 80s.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. Well, we've arrived at our destination, Kevin. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready?
Okay, ready.
Kevin, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Not yet.
Are you married? Well, you said yes. Your wife is there, right? She gives you the chores, right?
Yeah.
To do on Saturdays. Do you have children?
Yes.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
3 hours a day? No.
How about 3 hours a week?
Maybe once a month.
Okay, all right. What about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Almost 16.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Kevin, if you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, Kevin Shee, what would you say that is?
If you have a good business, move fast, but shut your mouth. Don't tell anybody. So people stop copying you.
This has been such of a great pleasure, Kevin.
Thank
Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Yeah, I invite all your listeners to come to Hong Kong. Please message me on Facebook. Just say you're from the Angel Show, and then I'm glad to take you guys out for a drink or dinner or something and just visit my beautiful city. It's a bit of a mess right now, but I'm pretty sure we'll clean it up very soon.
All right, my friend. Again, folks, Kevin Shee, thank you, my friend, for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.